The biggest question is, will there ever be a cure? Today, we're diving into the scientific hunt for a cure for one of the absolute strangest allergies out there, alpha-gal syndrome. You know, the one where a single tick bite can make you allergic to red meat? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, doesn't it? But for a huge and growing number of people, this is their new reality, and it changes everything. This is the whole mystery of alpha-gal syndrome, or AGS, and we're going to explore exactly how science is trying to solve it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on what this allergy actually is and why it's becoming such a big deal. Then, we'll get into the exciting stuff, the incredible multi-pronged search for a real cure. All right, let's jump in. What in the world is alpha-gal syndrome, and why is it suddenly on everyone's radar as a public health issue? You know, what makes AGS so weird is that you're not allergic to a protein, which is what you see in most food allergies like peanuts or shellfish. No, this is an allergy to a sugar molecule called alpha-gal. And get this, that sugar is in pretty much all mammals, except for us humans and some apes. The whole thing gets triggered when a tick, usually the Lone Star tick, bites you and basically teaches your immune system to hate this sugar. And we're not talking about a handful of people here. The CDC estimates that as many as 450,000 people in the US might already have it. And what's really concerning is that the number of cases has been shooting up recently. This thing has gone from a medical curiosity to a serious public health problem that we really need to solve. Okay, so with hundreds of thousands of people dealing with this and no official cure available, how do you even manage your life day to day? This really just lays it all out, doesn't it? There is no pill, no magic shot. For now, living with AGS isn't about a cure. It's about a constant, really disciplined effort to avoid anything that could trigger a reaction. And this is key, to avoid getting bitten by another tick. And avoiding alpha-gal is so much harder than just saying no to a burger. You have to become a detective, scrutinizing labels for things like dairy, which hits about 15% of patients, or gelatin, which is in everything from gummy bears to pill capsules. It even affects life-saving medical products, like the blood thinner heparin, or prosthetic heart valves, which often come from pigs. Now, there is one little glimmer of hope, a kind of natural cure. For some people, if they can go 5 or more years without a single new tick bite, their antibody levels might drop low enough that they can eat meat again. It's a huge motivator for sure, but it takes an incredible amount of vigilance and a little bit of luck. All right, let's get into the really cool stuff, the active search for a cure. The first big strategy is all about retraining your body's own defense system so it just chills out. This is basically like an immune system boot camp. It's called oral immunotherapy, or OIT. Under super close medical supervision, patients eat tiny, tiny doses of meat and then slowly increase the amount over time. The whole point is to gently desensitize the immune system, to teach it that alpha-gal isn't some horrible invader. And you know what? Studies are showing this can actually work really well long term. And then some research is taking this to a whole other level. Scientists are creating these tiny biodegradable nanoparticles that act like a Trojan horse. They sneak the alpha-gal sugar into the immune system in a way that signals friend, not foe. The dream here is to create a treatment that works like a vaccine, long-lasting protection from just a couple of doses, a total game changer. Okay, let's shift gears to another strategy, one that's even more precise. Instead of retraining the whole immune system, what if you could just block the one signal that actually causes the allergic reaction? So companies like IgGenics are going right after the source. They've done something that is just incredible. They've managed to isolate over 60 of the exact antibodies that are responsible for the alpha-gal allergic reaction in humans. This is a huge, huge deal, because once you know who the bad guy is, you can figure out how to stop him. So here's the plan. They want to take those allergy-causing antibodies, the IgE ones, and re-engineer them into a different kind, IgG antibodies. These new ones would basically act like bodyguards, intercepting the alpha-gal before it can sound the alarm and start that whole allergic cascade. They're already testing a similar idea for peanut allergies, so there's a clear path to get this done for AGS too. Now, this last strategy is just brilliant because it flips the whole problem on its head. It asks, instead of trying to fix the person who's allergic, what if we could just get rid of the allergen at the source? So, say hello to the gal-safe pig. A company called Revivicor used genetic editing to basically switch off the single gene that lets pigs produce the alpha-gal sugar. And in 2020, the FDA gave it the green light, saying these pigs are safe for us to eat and to use for making medical products. For someone with AGS, this is just a massive breakthrough with two huge benefits. First, the chance to eat pork again safely, but maybe even more importantly, it means we can create alpha-gal-free versions of those critical medical products like heart valves and heparin. That removes a huge amount of risk and worry. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that the scientific community is not putting all its eggs in one basket. The search for an alpha gal cure is happening on multiple fronts at once, with scientists attacking the problem from every angle you can imagine. And as you can see, all these different strategies are at different points in the race. We've got gal safe products that are already FDA approved, which is amazing. The antibody therapies are in the preclinical stage, and immunotherapy is being used and studied in clinics right now. The progress is absolutely real. And because it's all happening at the same time, the conversation is really shifting from if we'll find a cure to how and when. The whole story of alpha gal syndrome is just a perfect example of how fast science can react when a new threat pops up. And it really leaves you with a pretty profound question. As we develop these incredible tools to retrain, to block, and even to edit our own biology, what is the word incurable even going to mean tomorrow?